part of the vetting committee. Good morning to you.
Good morning, my brother, and good morning to your good listeners and your colleagues in the studio.
I hope you're well.
We can't complain.
First, let me ask the question of the vetting. And then I realized this request was made by Hajia. Why did you say no? She wanted virtual.
Yes, that's very true. One of the aspirants put in a request for virtual vetting, and that request was forwarded to the Functional Executive Committee, in this case, the National Executive. So the National Executive, based on what the party has done over the years, decided that because we don't have that as a precedent, it will not be appropriate at this time in a by-election to set a new precedent. So in their wisdom, they directed the region that we should not honor the virtual vetting. And but I think that issue is for now it's inconsequential because we've gone past that stage. We conducted a vetting. Ajia appeared in person, and she was questioned. She qualified within the remit of the regulations, and after that there was balloting. She's on the ballot paper. So I think we've gone past that stage. And but I think with where we have advanced to in terms of technology, virtual vetting is something that maybe subsequently the party may want to look at. And if that decision is taken by the National Executive Committee or by Congress, we are all bound to live by it. But for now, that is not on the table.
You know, in fact, most of the Greater Accra constituencies quite well. Is this a place that you can lose? Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, I was asking, is this a constituency that you say is on a knife's edge, that you have the probability of losing this constituency if you don't choose the appropriate candidate?
If you look at the candidates contesting the election, apart from Najib, who is relatively new in the race, the other candidates are people who have really engaged in politics or the politics of Ayawaso East, and they are well known within the constituency, and they are qualified within their own right to contest Ayawaso East. On any day or tomorrow, whoever is elected as the NDC parliamentary candidate for the March 3rd parliamentary by-election, I am very optimistic that that candidate will retain the seat for the NDC. That is not in doubt at all. It is not a seat that the NDC could easily lose, no. So any of the candidates who is elected tomorrow, and when we vetted them, they are not as though people who don't know the constituency. They know the in and out of the constituency. Some of them were born and bred there. They have lived there for so many years. They have lived with the people know them. And in terms of competence, their competence is not in doubt at all. In fact, if you take the candidates one by one, you take, for instance, the constituency chairman. I mean, the fact that he is the constituency chairman, he has worked with the people in the constituency. He superintended over the last election, the 2024 election, that we retained the seat. We take Ajia, for instance. Ajia was a pillar behind the husband throughout his journey as a member of parliament, well known as a philanthropist in that constituency. So you take Dr. Azindo. Dr. Azindo did his third time contesting as in the parliamentary primaries. And then Najib Banker in his private life, who has also lived in that constituency, and understand he owns a financial institution in the constituency as well. So these are people who have lived there, the people know them, and their competence is not in doubt at all that any of them who is elected tomorrow by the delegates will win the seat for the NDC.
Now, but you said Najib is the relatively new quantity in the race.
Yes.
I see. But you're still confident that even if he wins, he'll still win the seat for you.
Yes. Najib may not be openly involved in politics. I'm not holding brief for him, though, but I use the word relatively new because he was working with a bank. Probably he was not into the politics as all of us we used to do. But he runs a financial institution in the constituency and he's known. But the point is that the decision as to who will lead the NDC into the by-election lies with the delegates. So tomorrow they will decide among those contestants who is best to step into the shoes of the late MP. And I believe the delegates will do a good job by electing a candidate who will not only be a candidate or will not be a candidate who will only become a member of parliament, but somebody who would bring development to the good people of Ayawaso East.
What is, and I'm sure, what's the history that's behind the NDC's confidence that they'll retain the seat, no matter who is chosen?
For Ayawaso East, since 1992, that seat has remained an NDC seat since 1992, even when it was subsequently split into Ayawaso East and Ayawaso North. We have dominated that constituency. The only time the MPP came close to winning that seat was when Kofi Wayo contested. I think that should be somewhere in 2000 or so, or 2004. I think it will be 2000 when he came close to, the MPP came close to winning that seat. Since then, we have dominated in that constituency. And sometimes people mistakenly take Ayawaso East or limit Ayawaso East to Nima. And the constituency is not only Nima. In terms of geography, Kanda and 37, part of 37, is also part of Ayawaso East. And if you look at the results right from 1992 to the last election, the MPP themselves know that they want to put a candidate because they need to be in the race. Not that they are in the race. They know it themselves. Their candidate themselves knows that this is not the seat that they can win. Not because we think the people are NDC, so on any day they will vote for us. No. If we look at the performance of the NDC, currently even under the NDC and even previous NDC government compared to the MPP in terms of development in Ayawaso East, there's no way the MPP can match the NDC. So based on that, the electorates have kept faith with the NDC and we have worked closely with them. And I believe with what we are even doing now as a government, our numbers may even increase compared to the 2024 election.
Do you, because sometimes primaries can be very acrimonious by their nature. The MPP has gone with the options of handpicking a candidate that they said will represent them. You have 5 contenders. From listening to the ground, do you expect that there'll be some acrimony? Would this also not lead to some acrimony that might affect your chances of winning the seat? Because once the party splits, then the MPP might have a good chance.
The fact that you are selecting your candidate through internal primaries does not mean there will be acrimony. In fact, the process of selecting a sole candidate in itself could spark revolt within your party. We saw it in Akwitiya when the MPP selected, handpicked a candidate. At the end of the day, it worked against them. They have repeated same in Ayawaso East. That is their decision. But in the case of the NDC, it's a democratic party. We open nominations, a transparent process for those interested to pick the nomination. In fact, 6 people picked nomination. At the end of the day, 5 of them filed, appeared before the vetting committee. All of them were cleared to go and contest the election. Selecting candidates through internal primaries is not new to the NDC. Of course, when it's time for primaries, internal primaries, individuals will have their preference, their choice of candidate they will support. All manner of things will be said. But immediately after the primary, we will rally all the candidates together because it is the NDC. We work with regulations. And this is an election that two people cannot win. At the end of the day, we'll have a sole candidate. So those even contesting together with their supporters, they know from the onset that only one candidate can win that election. And we have done this over the years. Indeed, we have two of the candidates who contested the primaries with the late MP still in the race. They went the last time, they lost. They've been around. They helped in the 2024 election. Their supporters helped in the 2024 election. In fact, when you compare the results of the 2024 elections to that of the 2020 election, we increase in terms of numbers. So that should tell you that on any day, when any one of them is selected, those who may not find favor with the delegates, together with their supporters, will rally around whoever is elected. Because we always say that delegates don't get it wrong. And when you are going into election, one of the things that you need to cite yourself is that it's a win or lose game. Today, it may not be you. Tomorrow, it may be you. And when you lose the election, the manner in which you conduct yourself, the manner in which you control your supporters, keep them in line to support the party chosen candidate, would determine your future in the NDC. So I believe the candidates themselves, they know this. Their supporters also know they want a better life for the candidates that they are supporting. And they will not do anything untoward or go against whoever is elected tomorrow as the party's choice of candidate.
I see. Let me conclude on this note, because you talk about the Kofi Wayo, the history, Kofi Wayo's history, and there's a lot of talk on the ground that the Baba Ali guy is quite well known on the ground. He's known to the constituency. People will say he's a local guy. Is that not cause for worry that you should be careful who you choose to compete with him, else you'll be preferred over a candidate?
Well, the point is that I don't know which of the NDC candidates, the five of them, who is equally not a local guy. If you compare Baba Ali to any of the NDC candidates, they are all local guys. Like I said, Adia, for instance, has worked in that constituency for so many years now. She knows every corner in the constituency. If you come to the constituency chairman, he is the constituency chairman. There is nobody in that constituency who does not know him. Then you come to Baba Jamal. Despite the fact that he was once an MP in Abuja, he has lived in that constituency before. And the fact that he was once the deputy general secretary of the party, he has worked in that constituency all these years. And in fact, subsequently a deputy minister and now an ambassador. So, and has contested the primary in the last election. So there's nobody in Lima who would say, or Ayawaso East who would say that he does not know Baba Jamal. Then you come to Dr. Azingo. Like I said, this is the third time he is contesting. His name has been on the list of the electorate in Ayawaso East. Then you come to Najib, who runs the financial institution in Ayawaso East. They are all to use the word loosely or not in a malicious manner, local people who have lived with the people and they know them. So if the NDP presents their candidate as a local person, I don't know which of our candidates who is not a local person that quality will give him the chance to edge over any of our candidates. And so far, listening to the ground, I mentioned earlier that the NDP candidate himself knows that this is not an election that he can win. He is in the race because they must fill the candidate. That's exactly why he's in the race, but not in the race to win the election. And if he will be truthful to you, if you call him now, which he will not, he will confess to you that maybe in a private conversation that he is not in that race to win the election. And I'm sure Third match is not too far from it. And after third match by 4 p.m., we will really know who the winner is. But we know and we are optimistic that we will retain that seat. In fact, the NPP did not go through primary to select their candidate. They handpicked the candidate. But go to Lima today and ask if they are on the ground. They don't have any primaries. They don't have any impediment like primaries to select a candidate to start campaigning. They handpicked their candidate. So by now, if they are really upbeat about winning the election or snatching the seats from the NDC, they should have been on the ground. If you go to Lima now, the NPP is not on the ground because they know they will not win the election. So they don't want to even put in much effort or resources that they are campaigning because it's a no-go zone for the NPP.
I see. Will these primaries be supervised by the regional executives or national will take over?
So the primaries is being supervised by regional executives and the national executives. But we have issued strict guidelines or rules regarding the primaries tomorrow. The Ghana Police Service is handling security, so there will be nothing like private security. The Electoral Commission will conduct the election. All delegates have been accredited, and officials from the region and national who will supervise the election have equally been accredited. So if you have more accreditation, you will not have access to the voting ground. If you're a national executive, a regional executive, a CEO, or let me say appointee, and you don't have accreditation, when you get there, you will not be allowed access to the place. And because of the nature of the area and the fact that it's not far from Lima Police Station, we have even issued directives that those who come with their vehicles should park in Lima Police Station. So we have given clear directions and directives on what will be done tomorrow. And we believe that with the protocols that we have put in place, by 4 p.m., we will get our parliamentary candidates. Then we zoom into action ahead of the March 3 election.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you very much, brother.
Amos blessing Amorse is Greater Accra Regional Youth Organizer of the National Democratic Congress, speaking to us about Ayawaso East. And the primaries are tomorrow. You elect 1 out of 5 to represent the party in the upcoming by-election, which has been occasioned by the sad, painful loss of the Member of Parliament for the area who was elected in the 2024 election. Someone who had been in Parliament for quite a while, Nasser Tori, who passed on. One of the people in the race, of course, is his widow. The other one is the man who faced him ahead of the 2024 elections. That's Baba Jamal, who is now Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria. Another person who was also in the race in 2024 but didn't come close to winning, Dr. Zindo, is also still in the race. Then there's the chairman of the constituency who is in the race. And then there's the Najib, who is maintaining 2% or 1% in the Musa Dankwa post. Najib, a good morning to you. And this one there, you have a tall work to do. But it's always great to sometimes introduce yourself in a way, find a way of making an official entry, announcing your intentions. So there are many reasons, and Nancy, there are many reasons people go and pick form and then file to contest in an election. There are people who pick the form knowing very well that they will not win, but they have their own reasons for showing face. Yeah. So there are people who are in there who know, I can't win, but there's a reason they are there. And they have their own reasons. Their plans.
Just to become honorable.
Yes. And also for the interest.
If you contest now, you become honorable.
Yes.
There are people who call you honorable.
Honorable, yeah. But the interesting thing also is that there are people in there who believe they can win, who everybody has told you can't win, but they are confident they can win. You understand? There are some people who are difficult to convince that you do not have a chance.
Feel for Ayawaso. We for Ayawaso. Unsa dia no said all canon. Na say we no contest no na say kwakwe be say